Sister Mary Imelda, née Rosalind McNee, knew tragedy. Her beloved fiancé was killed in action at the Battle of the Somme on the 1st of July 1916. Rosalind, overcome by grief, took the veil at Layton Hill Convent in Blackpool. Unable to cope with her loss, she took her own life by climbing out of a third-floor window and jumping to her death. No one ever spoke of this dreadful tragedy. The convent stood on a hill, originally Lonely Lane, now St Walburga's Road, a sprawling Gothic building with turrets and arched windows concealing a labyrinth of rooms and staircases. It was a school for girls as well as home to a community of nuns. The smell of freshly polished wood with a slight overtone of incense from the chapel pervaded the whole building. In 1963, Maria McBride was a day pupil at the convent. She was an inquisitive child who did not take kindly to the various strictures not to walk across the sixth form corridor, keep out of the boarders' common room, not to use the staircase which led up past the chapel and onto the upper floors. The use of the rooms above was shrouded in mystery. On a dark November night, Maria found herself in detention. At the end of the 2 hours, the teacher who had invigilated dismissed her small clutch of miscreants out into the night for a late dinner and parental disapproval. Maria McBride had other ideas. Slipping across the out-of-bounds sixth floor corridor, she crept up the green staircase that led to the chapel. Her way was dimly lit, but she was familiar with the turn in the stairs and reached the landing outside the chapel without difficulty. There to her left was the out-of-bounds staircase that led into the unknown. What a heroine she would be if she could tell her school friends of its secrets. Tentatively, she started to climb the steps. She was in semi-darkness now and was breathing more rapidly as she crept upwards. At the first landing, the dim electric light from the downstairs corridor was augmented by a candle flickering beneath a picture of the crucifixion. In the distance, Maria could hear the faint sound of a woman sobbing. On she pressed, and with heart still pounding, she realised that the sound of crying came from the floor above. As she crept round the final turn on the stair, Maria realised that she was approaching the top of the building. Through an arched window, the eerie yellow light of a distant street lamp had managed to permeate the November gloom, casting a sickly, faint glow. Maria reached the landing. From behind the door in front of her came the unmistakable sound of a woman whimpering. The door was ajar, and she gave it a slight push. A nun was stooped over a small table in front of a large mirror. Maria called softly, "Sister?" She could not make out the features on the face in the mirror in the half-light. Slowly, the nun turned. Slowly, slowly, agonizingly slowly. She was dressed in her habit. Her veil and wimple were in place and were framing a deep, dark, cavernous void where her face should have been. Maria McBride was found the next morning. After an extensive search of the building and its surrounding grounds, she was found sitting on the floor of the room, looking straight ahead. She never spoke of what she had seen. She never spoke again.